Well, it's time to get to know a little bit about our men and women, well, two women and a man that are the showcasing examples of how technology has made a difference in their lives. So please let me introduce you to Deana Neely. She's the owner and CEO of Detroit Voltage. Hi. Yes, thank you. And her company is one of Michigan's fastest growing women-owned electrical contracting firms, talking about women empowerment through business. She attributes the growth of her business to Google products. We'll talk a little bit more. Welcome, welcome. Now, Tareq Hadhad, Tareq, whose family migrated from Syria. Hello, thank you. He is the founder and CEO of Peace by Chocolate, a chocolatier based in Nova Scotia, Canada. Welcome. Thank you. And Fátima Álvarez, she's a co-founder of Someone Somewhere. Hello, Fátima. A startup that works with artisans from Mexico's indigenous communities to produce and market traditional handcrafts such as clothing and accessories. How are you? Congratulations, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So much.
Okay, so
big moment.
Exactly. Let's hear a little bit more about your cases, individual cases, how you were able to leverage through technology that resilience that an entrepreneur has. Why don't we start with you, Dan?
Sure. So I leverage many different digital tools. Some of those were the Google My Business listing, right? That listing proved to be invaluable. I was able to reach many new customers regularly. I was also able to show up in a way where they were able to find me, right? So we were able to list the services that we were able to provide. We were able to showcase the different things that we can do for them. Everything was there, and they were able to find us. Also, I was able to show up in a way where they knew that I was a Black woman-owned business. There were so many people looking for me. I had no clue because I was hiding from them in a sense, because I was afraid to like put it out there that I was a Black woman-owned business because of the male-dominated industry. So Google Ads, the Google My Business listing, just those few things were able to really help me grow and scale quickly.
Well, that automatically means that you are not the norm, but the exception.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
are. Okay.
Yes.
Tareq, chocolates from Syria.
Everyone loves chocolate. Everyone wants peace. That's why we call the company Peace by Chocolate. I am truly honored to share that our story is about building a company because we want to spread happiness through chocolate. Happy people are peaceful people. And also our family lost a big factory in Syria because of the war in 2012 that was bombed. So when we came to Canada, we realized that technology is a bridge that we wanted to use to connect to everyone, to our target audience, not only in Canada, but across the world, because technology does not know borders. This is really the thing that we use the most to our own advantage. Our company started in 2016 in Canada, in our home community of Antigonish, Nova Scotia, and we started shipping our first chocolate boxes around the country. We opened our first website by the end of 2016, and we had to shut it down after 3 hours. We have only one product to sell, but we couldn't even make enough products for that. At that time, we started realizing that using Shopify, Squarespace, Klaviyo, currency conversion apps on our website, and many other platforms to reach the wider audience was so more important to us than anything, because in this point in time, in the time of globalization, technology is the right tool for every small business to scale up and build their audience, because I absolutely believe that the sky is the limit for our business and we can be anywhere at any time.
Wow, inspiring, right? We all want to now create a new company, I'm telling you. And it's important also to talk about how it enables rural women or women in rural areas to showcase also the products, and you with Someone Somewhere is exactly the right case for what I'm talking about.
Yes, what we do at Someone Somewhere is creating products that include handcraft from indigenous communities and connect them with the global markets. So that has been very important. We first started with physical stores, and when the pandemic hit, we needed to find a way to keep our doors open because the income of more than 300 families were at risk. So we transitioned into a digital world, and thanks to tools and products like Google Ads, we have been able to show and to promote our products and the artisans' products, and now people from all over the world, maybe someone in Paris, it's going to be able to discover and buy products from Lucero, who is an artisan in the Oaxaca region. So digital tools are enabling us to tell their stories, to connect, to bring the Mexican indigenous culture into the urban world and make people more aware of the challenges that people live, but also the richness, the colors, the tradition, the festivities, and I think that that's what makes a world more human.
Yes, and we're always saying that you improve their lives, but can you be more specific? How have their lives been improved through the efforts that you've been making?
Yes. So now they have a regular income, and constancy for them is crucial because now they can make long-term investments. They can invest in infrastructure in their houses, in education. They can also plan in the long term. So now they know that they have a regular income. They are also being more recognized in their communities because normally, there are more than 300 million artisans in the world, but people do not know that because artisan world normally it's in the houses and it's just individual women working separately. So now they're being able to bring their products and raise their voices and organize also to ask for new things in a political scale as well, and to be organized for climate disasters and to work as a team.
And Sundar, I mean, when I hear these examples and I read about your life and how it changed, technology changed you, and we're not talking only about computers, we're talking about phones in rural areas and how you discovered that world was open for you through the phone. It's critical that we just don't underestimate the power of technology.
I think it's one of the most fundamental enablers there is, particularly as you look ahead into the future of what is there. I think it really allows anyone to harness and reach as many people as they can. And, and the digital economy doesn't know borders, right? There can be someone, and you can be in Canada making chocolates and reaching people around the world. And that's true for what you're doing, Fátima, as well. So I think that's the power of the opportunity. But again, it's an enabler. It doesn't solve all problems, but it is one important piece of the puzzle. And I think what we can do is to make sure more people have access to it. And with the right policies and public-private partnerships, you can catalyze an economy, and that's what digital transformation is about.
I just want to add one thing to Sundar's point, which is really important. I think leveling the playing field for small businesses through technology was so important for us. We realized that big companies have enough advantages already, right? So small businesses needed to leverage that to tell their own stories, while technology has eliminated the middleman for our own stories. To tell our own stories and be our own marketers and ambassadors for our own companies, which is very, absolutely fabulous, fantastic in this point in time. It's a huge advantage point for small businesses.
Absolutely. You make it more about yourself, personable, so to speak, right? In this case, 100%. I'm kind of like the middleman, but at the same time, I understand your point. I mean, even for the media, we've seen that happening, right? Even in our case, in our industry. And I think that telling the story is what connects communities, countries, the world in general. There's a number that you were mentioning to me yesterday, the universe of women artisans around the world that can, be benefited from this opportunity.
Yes, the artisan activity is the second employer in the developing world after the agriculture. So when you think about it, if you really want to break the poverty cycle, we need to invest in women. And they have learned this activity since generations. So it's just providing them the tools so that they can get to different markets outside their communities, and they can, have a better income from that. And something really important is that now we have access to a lot of information that we can use in our favor. So for example, when the pandemic hit, thanks to Google Trends, we were able to see that our market segment was looking desperately for face masks. So we were one of the first Mexican companies to start doing face masks in rural indigenous communities, and that allowed us to keep providing jobs for more than 300 families all over the country. So I think it's a crucial time. And also during the pandemic, we figure out that, as Tareq was saying, there are not longer any physical borders or digital borders, because we can even start implementing our capacity building workshops not only in Mexico communities, but we can go to Latin America, to Asia, to Africa, and just scale and replicate the know-how that we have been developing in our community.
And just talking a little bit more about women, it's important how you started, Deana, because I think that a lot of women in Latin America can relate to the beginning of your endeavor and your company, the way you started.
Absolutely. So I was going through a traumatic divorce when I started the business, and I literally put everything into this business, and I started to find electricians, and we just hit the ground running. But I utilized Google's digital tools to help me grow and scale. So as I stated earlier, I was kind of afraid to put myself out there. I didn't really want anyone to know that it was a woman-owned business, a Black woman-owned business at all. But once I adopted that thinking, like, okay, where people are looking for me, and so I started to use the badges that you all created, and that proved to be invaluable. I was hiding from my customers, and so when I put those badges on my website and I put them on my Google listing, I found so many new customers, and I'm able to help people that are looking for me in the underserved community of the city of Detroit. So
now, this is going to sound like probably simplistic, but at the same time, the fact that business owners don't know the entire data that comes out from their own operation, it's important to realize that, so that you understand the relevance of technology and the data, the information that you get to have to know your business.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about that?
We kind of tried first to use this data for our own advantage to grow our business significantly, especially during the pandemic. The numbers we were getting were influencing us in a direction the business was going. And that's when we started really focusing more on our e-commerce that grew 3 times during the pandemic. But also looking at numbers would help us be more strategic rather than being reactive. The world is changing every single day. So making sure we have long-term strategies in the business that depends a lot on the digital resiliency and adaptability help us a lot, actually. Since the startup, we are an immigrant business. We came to Nova Scotia, Canada. We didn't know anyone. So using these numbers and feedback and comments, in 1980s, when my dad started the business in Syria, there was no Google reviews. No one would go on Google My Business and leave you a comment telling you, well, I don't like dark chocolate or milk chocolate. So that was really great. And the numbers from our customers and the analytics were certainly helpful for us.
How about you?
Yes, also the tools like Google Workspace, like we were using those tools before, but during the pandemic, they were crucial to continue our operations and running smoothly, because of course, we used to use them for our internal operations, but we learned that we can even be working with artisans in the remote communities, and through Google Meet, for example, we had all these meetings and conferences, and we were able to track the production, the inventory, thanks to spreadsheets. So those things wouldn't have been possible before, or we weren't aware how helpful they could be also for our internal operations. And as you say, all the data that we are collecting, all the information that we can share with them as well, with all of our suppliers, with our internal team. Like now I cannot imagine having a business without all these tools.
Sundar, to you, it feels sometimes like you don't know that you don't know it, or that you don't need it when it comes to technology. And I don't know if we're still in that stage in the world of small and medium-sized business, or this time it's different, it has evolved, and it's only about reskilling, relearning. What is it? What do you see?
Look, I think the stories you're hearing here, I've heard literally thousands of it, right? It could be a bakery in New York during the pandemic. Almost everyone has had to figure this out. But not everyone can do it on their own.
Yes.
And, and so I think we shouldn't underestimate the importance of skilling over time. I mean, we all have to figure out how to scale all of this up. And so I think governments have an important role to play through their community colleges or whatever tools they have to try and take all this to as many businesses and people as possible. Because we can tangibly see the difference when people can take advantage of digital tools, not just from Google, but from other companies as
Absolutely.
well. And so I think that's an important piece of the puzzle. But I think you're seeing the best stories out here. It's important. There are businesses who didn't figure this part out through a digital transition, and so I view it as we all let them down, right? And so it's important, for more programs like career certificates or digital skill trainings from the private sector, from governments, to reach as many people as possible, because I think it is going to be increasingly an essential skill for the future world. It's both an opportunity and it's both something it's a moral imperative to get it right so that we don't leave people behind.
And early on, even though we know that some of the things that we're learning today might not be, the good things to know tomorrow, but early on, you mean education really early on, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm asking this because I'm wondering, you're an example of resilience, but you know exactly how your ecosystem works, wherever your companies are. What would you say are the opportunities to work on from the public policy or public sector so that more of you are able to, create their own companies, create value, create jobs? What would you say?
So in my case, I would say we need more internet, more digital infrastructure in remote areas, because people are willing to learn and they are really looking for ways to be productive and to learn new things. But if we are not providing them those opportunities, it's difficult because the content is already there. There are great efforts that Google and other companies are making to give this training, this educational programs, but we first need the infrastructure for underserved communities and people outside the big cities.
I think that small businesses are the backbone of any economy,
Yes.
any society. We were lucky in Canada to be able to translate our skills and experiences as immigrants. Me and Sundar, we share this experience together into an opportunity for a life for ourselves, for a life for our community. We as a business, we have the role to play right now to realize how much entrepreneurship is much of a leadership platform for businesses to translate all of those skills, but also to run businesses based on impact and community orientation, because without those communities, we wouldn't have been able to start anything. Businesses now exist for the sole purpose of people, caring about people, right? Do not exist to them, maximize the profit of shareholders. This is now, and for us small businesses, we care about kindness, spreading peace and values. We care about return on kindness more than return on investment. This is our standard in a business, caring about our planet, our people, and making sure that we make good products. And by the way, our products are delicious. If you guys haven't been to the Google booth,
have you gotten any chocolate from him? No, right? We need some chocolate.
Yes.
Kidding. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely echo what both of Fatima and Tareq, right? But what both of them stated, right? It's all about
the chocolate guy.
Right, the chocolate guy. That's what I want to call him. The chocolates are amazing. That's what I want to call him. But yeah, I echo exactly what both of them stated. It's it's all about community and being able to help those in the community and offer training for me, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm an electrical contractor, and
yes.
We provide residential and commercial services. And when you think about the EV infrastructure and what's needed to, provide that electrification of vehicles, we have an opportunity to really be at the forefront of that. We do a lot of, the charging stations and things of that nature. So, just being able to provide training and opportunity for the community.
And we can repeat it and repeat it over and over. The training is critical.
Yeah.
I think that in the minutes that we have left, just no-nos that you can help other entrepreneurs avoid that you have gone through. What are those? The lessons learned. that you would ask you would tell another colleague of yours? No.
Well, yesterday at dinner, we were talking about how now it has become very glamorous to be an entrepreneur. So new generations of entrepreneurs think that it's very easy, that in 1 year you're gonna get your business running and everything. And we were saying, like, the reality is not that way. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of partnerships, a lot of looking for opportunities, a lot of connection with what's happening both with the clients or beneficiaries, and also what's happening in your context, in your community. So me as a social entrepreneur always is saying, like, we don't need to create new needs for the people, but we rather see what needs already exist in our community and find innovative ways to give solutions to those needs. And I think with partnering with companies like Google are great to scale. Once we have learned the root cause of the problems and we have an idea of a solution, we need to partner with public sector, private sector, entrepreneurs, students, academy, and make really holistic efforts to solve those problems. So it's hard work and a lot of resiliency and yes, partnerships.
Very nice.
Entrepreneurs are disruptors. They are there for a reason, to scan the gaps, fill in the gaps into their society, make the impact. And I believe that right now is the time to think about digital tools as a way to spread awareness and information and using it to the benefit for our own companies and our own selves as individuals. I use Google Docs to prepare the notes for this meeting. I use Google Meets to have it in my calendar. I use Google Maps to get to the airport. Like, you know, I'm not doing ads for Google, actually. But what I wanted to say is,
you can add a chocolate in between.
What I wanted to say is, please think about technology and digital tools as a way to build bridge. Don't let it be a barrier. This is the time to make sure that we don't build digital walls. Actually, we don't want any even actual walls. Let's build longer tables. Let's make sure that we build a digital world that is inclusive for everyone to succeed. And at the end of the day, if it's not working, go digital networking.
Absolutely. Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing is to be uncomfortable, be comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Right.
Don't be afraid to partner with other companies and figure out ways that you can collectively work to get to the goal. So taking that leap of faith, those would be those things that I would definitely recommend to other entrepreneurs.
I mean, you've heard, I'm sure, several hundreds of entrepreneurs, and for me, exactly the no-nos that you would suggest other entrepreneurs through, you know, listening to many stories, Sundar. What would you say? Because you know that you have a vision about technology.
Look, the reason I'm so optimistic about technology is because I believe in the potential of people to use it to make their lives better, make others' lives better. You know, that's the secret to this. It's the people who will make a difference. And for all of Americas, I think people have to realize there are many people, many Fatimas, Deanas, Tareqs in their countries and communities. Absolutely. And this is about tapping into that resource and giving more of them the opportunity to succeed.
Mm-hmm. Last but not least, where do you see yourselves in the next 5 years, 10 years? What's happening?
I would love to cross more borders and to be able to provide more fair and constant job opportunities for artisans all over the world, not only in Latin America, but in other continents as well. And I would love to people in cities turn and think of people living in rural communities and seeing how they can contribute to their well-being as well, and include them in their value chains of their companies, in their projects, and making a more connected society.
Tareq.
Now, Peace by Chocolate ships all products across Canada and the U.S. We are hopeful that we're going to be able to ship products across the world in the next 5 years. We are a successful business thanks to the community, thanks to the people who believe in our message of peace, but we need to pass this on. And if you are successful, it is your moral responsibility to lift others to success. That's why our company made promises to hire refugees in our company, help businesses start by refugees to scale up, right? Because this is the law of reciprocity. Whatever you give, you'll get back. And I think kindness should be the pillar for our business. But in the next few years, hopefully we see Peace by Chocolate as one of the top chocolate companies in the country.
So Detroit Voltage will be a leader in the EV infrastructure space. We will be creating training opportunities across the nation, and that's the goal, to continue that and to keep it going.
And how would you close this message in this summit where technology has been a key part of the discussion, Sundar?
No, look, we are coming into this with so much excitement. I think the moment is an incredible moment for Americas, and and particularly in Latin America, I think. So hopefully we can carpe diem, seize the moment,
yes,
and make progress across all these areas.
Absolutely. I want to thank you all, congratulate you all. You're inspiring, you're entrepreneurs, you're resilient, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.